I noticed on your website you offer a booking appointment system. So can you explain why that's been put in place, how it's working, and what advice you can offer anybody else?
So that was as a result of the pandemic and COVID. We had to obviously find different ways of meeting people because our doors were closed, so they couldn't come in and see us in the showroom in a normal way. So allowing them to book their own appointments and whether that's and it still can be over Zoom or in physical term. It just means it's instant. We're trying to take down as many barriers as possible to get to the next stage.
I guess that's good for the customer in terms of their time, but good for you for your planning, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, and obviously once there's slots in all the shows they can book, which I think the easier you can make it, the better.
I think that's a great function of a website to be able to do that.
Yeah, and it's
very,
been really
very unusual.
It's been really successful as well. We do have quite a few bookings, and obviously we don't just think, okay, then they're going to turn up and but we do then react to that, and it is then like, okay, what can we find out before you come in? Because we can then make the most of that appointment when they do come in. So we do perhaps send them a questionnaire or trying to get more information about the project, because the more we can wow them when they come into the showroom, the better experience it's going to be for everyone.
And they feel you're giving them more time. It's specific to them, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely. So big debate in the trade press. Are you a salesperson or are you a designer? So which should it be first, Hayley?
Well, I think everybody is a salesperson. Okay. It's a bit like everyone's in the hospitality business, because you're dealing with people. So, and yes, we sell products. So of course we sell, but what we don't do is just sell products. We sell through design. So design is our fundamental approach, because it's what we believe in. We believe that good design can make life better. So that's how it starts.
So you're not leading as a kitchen retailer or a bathroom retailer. You're leading as a design inspiration hub, stroke lifestyle. Yeah. We can sort this for you in terms of what you need, rather than boxes.
Well, and we're not saying, oh, this is what we always sell. Here you go. That's not what we're about. We, our approach is we believe we can improve what you have, and and that's how we do it. And therefore, you're selling through passion, because we're saying we know this is going to make your life better, because we've designed it and we can see it. And look, it might mean you have more space, or there's better flow, the lighting. So there's so many elements that are part of that.
Should retailers perhaps spend more time delving into the family life perhaps first? Is that important?
That's our approach, because we believe that's how we can give the best solution. The more we know about the customer, and everybody is different, so it's not just one solution for everyone, or repeat stuff that we know works. It's what do they need, what's important to them, how do they live, and then what can we do based on our knowledge and experience that can improve that, and is for them. And like I say, everyone's different.
Is there anything you could suggest which is a way of uncovering a customer's lifestyle? Because some people are quite closed, aren't they, about their home life? Yeah,
and that is making them relaxed, because the more
back to basics again.
It is, because the more they relax, the more they're going to open up. And it is a collaborative approach. Whatever you're doing in someone's home, we've even got them taking a photograph of every single kitchen cabinet and what's in it, so we can sort of document what all the stuff they have, what perhaps they don't need, or and therefore where is everything going to go in the new concept. And and people like that. People like thinking they're really going to think about where everything's going, which is that's good design, but it really helps us to uncover a lot that they might not see. It might not be obvious, but actually it tells you a lot about someone.
You're involving the customer in the project as well, aren't you?
Seeing what some people have in their cupboards tells you a lot about them.
Yeah, it's good. I guess the more you can involve a customer in the project, the more chance you're going to have of actually selling the project.
Absolutely, like I say, and that's a collaborative thing. They open up to you, and we can help. We can give them
collaborative approach. Good, I like that.
And then the lovely thing at the end is when they go, "This has really made my life better," and I love, I cook more because my kitchen's better, or I spend more time with my family because there's this great space that now works for me. That's the best reward, and that's when it works, and that's why they come back, because they know it's made a difference.
So on the discussion of collaborative approach, how would you help a customer open their minds to just getting away from boxes?
Yeah. Well,
I just want storage, Hayley. Just give me storage.
Yeah. And the thing is, houses are designed a certain way, and and we are very guilty of wanting to change that because people don't live in separate boxes anymore, and you can completely change a space by opening walls,
You're
merging
taking walls
spaces.
down for clients,
Yeah.
Opening spaces out. Yeah.
And let's be honest about what is happening in that third bedroom. Is it used once a year? And so why we can make more sense of that, and maybe let's do something else, or make it a spa or a walk-in wardrobe or something. Let's make it valuable every day to you rather than once in a blue moon. So. And I think spaces are merging and combining and have to be more multifunctional. And I think people do understand that. And the more examples we can show of that in our showroom is they start to understand that. So we're not just showing lots of examples of products. We're showcasing design and spatial planning.
What percentage of London properties have dining rooms now that you visit?
A dining room,
What is a dining room?
Well, I mean, very few.
Very
There's some, obviously, but most of them, it's open plan, kitchen, living, dining, and that's how people live, and it's how they want to live.
With the big demand in the market for quality installers, qualified maybe or experienced, it's a big need of the industry now. What advice could you offer people watching on how to ensure the installer remains working with you?
You look after them and you make their life easy, and you support them, because they're on site. So the more you can support them in terms of communication with the client before, end and throughout the process, you're allowing them to do...
Would you ever ask an installer to review a proposed project and ask their advice on how they would make some adjustments potentially?
Yeah, because there's a real...
Bring them into the project?
Yes. And all of our projects, once they're at a design stage, are reviewed by our installer, because they have a completely different outlook on the space than perhaps the designer does, and that really works because we're anticipating potential issues before it's even been ordered. So then that's a win-win. We have an apprentice digital marketing assistant as well, so apprenticeship schemes work for us, because getting people in and sort of training them on our way of working and how it is much more successful.
So you can recruit on attitude again, but you can offer the training to get the desired result for your corporate brand.
And then hopefully the progression of a career, because it's hard to get good people, and when we have them, we want to keep them.
So if people were thinking about taking on an apprentice installer, is there a point of reference you could recommend?
Bixby is great. We've started using it recently as well from our bathroom side, which has been fantastic. That's training as well as Protect My Install, which is fantastic. We've had clients recently over the last few weeks work with that, and it's been really good because it is one of the hardest things, and we know from an industry that it's getting harder to find qualified people. So
this is where the deposit goes into a central fund and it's stage payments and everybody works together on the same platform.
But it's also finding the right people from a starting point. Our customers, we do so much to a point, and so we need that same level of service and professionalism to continue through to the end.
Nice, perfect. So one of the things we spoke about today is the importance of developing people and coaching people. What manufacturer can you perhaps think about in the market that you could say is actually leading leaps and bounds in terms of offering online training or face-to-face training for the industry?
We work with a lot of suppliers, so because we do more than just kitchens. So training is a big thing, and it's continual, and it has to continually develop. A lot of our suppliers and manufacturers, appliance manufacturers offer great training and
appliances,
consistent ones like Bora, Visig, where you can see the products in reality and
this is product training. Do any of your suppliers, Hayley, ever offer anything about business training overall? It's just specific to their products.
Well, from our point of view, we need to train the team on our approach, on how to deal with people, on sales techniques, on design, and then layer that with product training. So there is a lot of elements, and it's something that has to be consistent and continual.
Is there anything you'd like to say to a manufacturer that's watching where they could perhaps take the advice of of what we've been talking about and actually develop a training plan in another area, perhaps where there isn't that there today.
Yeah. I mean, the more the better, I think. But obviously, when people are going out of when you've got a team who are in 3 showrooms, training becomes a big thing.
Yeah.
So how can you do it efficiently that doesn't take a whole day out of the showroom?
Travel,
So the online stuff that's all been happening over COVID has been great, but we're selling products as well that people want to feel and touch, and so sometimes it has to be a combination.
Yeah. If a manufacturer was to offer training that's different to just talking about their products, about how you could implement some smart tips and solutions in the showroom running or the way of increasing profit potentially. Now, you're not saying you take all that as gospel, but would you be interested in looking at that training?
I mean, we're always open to looking at training in general. I think it's something from an industry point of view. We want to get more professional. So the more the better. But you're right, it needs to be what is it, when is it, how is it delivered, and who to.
Okay. So obviously we're in London today, and I guess the London market typically is a little bit different from the rest of the UK in some respects. But what would you say the current trend is, or the current ask for customers today, and what do you think that might look like in a year's time?
Well, this is the thing. The things that people are, or we're working on now, you don't really see the result of until a year down the line. So it's funny because green kitchens are everywhere at the moment,
Right.
and we're
green
thinking,
kitchens.
and we're like, we're so over green kitchens because we've been doing that.
You've been there and you've done that.
But it's only really now that projects, which generally a kitchen or a house project might take a year, and then you get it photographed. So you're sort of seeing projects now that were done a long time ago.
Is there a colourway now people are asking for in painted kitchens?
White kitchens have sort of weirdly come back, but generally I would say it's more about personality in a space and mixing of materials. You're seeing a lot of fluted or textured materials and woods and tiles that so it changes.
This is going away just from the kitchen door again. Think about the whole thing.
And that's
every material in the kitchen.
Exactly. And a furniture door is just one element of the home. The flooring.
Where do you start, Hayley? Do you start with the furniture door, or do you start somewhere else potentially?
Well, we start with the spatial planning. So it's almost like irrelevant what the finish and the colour and that comes later, unless we've got the design right and the space working. It doesn't matter how much you spend or what great colours and trends it's not going to work, and it's not going to be successful. If you get the design right, it's easy to make it look great. So maybe the advice is if you're typically selling kitchens based on the door first, maybe think about perhaps the spatial awareness and the needs of the customer first, and then come back to that final choice. That's our approach.
That's what you do.
Because it's got to work.
Which going back to original questions, probably one of the day true differences, because I would suggest most retailers would do the opposite. Look at the kitchen door.
Whereas I'm like, I don't even look at the doors till we've decided how the space is going to work.
Okay. So trend for next year, we're talking 2023 now. Where do you see the trend for next year?
The funny thing is, whereas we would normally have been to Europe and Milan and all the shows, they haven't happened. And it tends.
You're making your own trend.
We're almost trendless because I think people want to buy quality. I think they don't necessarily want the latest thing that's in fashion, especially in interiors. They understand that actually they're investing in something that's got to last rather than a throwaway fashion, which it has been. And I think people are much more savvy to that. So for us, the key is that it's timeless, it's quality, it's going to last, and that it suits the person it's for. And so, a lot of our showrooms are quite eclectic, I would say. There's a lot of different materials. And that means you can, highlight elements or reduce elements. I just think someone doesn't come in and go, I want a blue kitchen. No. It just doesn't happen. It might happen in other places, but for us, it's about, it's a mixture of materials.
So do you think it's a fashion market now where people would change their kitchen more often, or is it a timeless market?
I really hope not, because that's not good for the planet. I think you have to allow people to evolve with trends, but there's lots of different ways you can do that. So, tiles or paint colours. So we try and encourage clients to do something that's going to stand the test of time, but design in areas that can be updated through styling or, very easily changeable things. So they can keep on top of trends. But But really, most of our clients understand that they want something that's not going to date.
When was the last pink kitchen you designed?
We've done a pink kitchen,
right.
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good. Can you explain how that came about? Was it a recommendation from your part, or did the customer ask for it then?
Well, I mean, and colours are always going to be a thing, but the reality is, this kitchen we're sitting in is a handmade kitchen. So you could paint it next week blue or pink or green.
Yeah, you could change.
And that's part of the longevity of it. It's a great quality, it works, the functionality. So colours can come and go, but really it's got to last and be well designed.
Okay. Customers now are experts. They come into the showroom, they've done the research, they've looked at what they want, and they've got a list. How do you deal with that list?
So I think people are much cleverer. I think they come in with a lot more knowledge. They've done a lot of research, and it's great if someone comes in and knows what they want. How they communicate what they want sometimes is more difficult, and I think research online and things like Pinterest really help that, because someone's interpretation of I want a minimal kitchen is someone else's interpretation. So I think the more that they can come in and know what they want, the better. But what they don't tend to see online is the reality of compatibility of products or suppliers, or it's great that they come in knowing what they want, but a lot of the time they change their mind through the process as well.
So if they're adamant they want something, with your experience, you know very well that just isn't going to work. What advice can you offer how to deal with that customer this is what we need to do?
I mean, it happens,
right,
and for us, we have to say. We have, over 20 years experience, and so our job is to be completely honest and advise them what does and doesn't work and why, and in the best case, show them examples.
Okay.
So
that's good advice.
So where we can show an example of something working or not working, that really helps. And I think as long as people are informed and you're open and honest, they're making informed decisions, and they still want to go down that route, fine. But most people will listen to experts, and if you can, show how it can work better, perhaps they tend to be open to it.
So if somebody was to come in and basically had no idea what they wanted, I've just got a blank piece, can you help me?
Yeah.
Do you have a gallery you can show them?
Yeah. We've got every single one of our projects is on Pinterest, which was a project through lockdown. Is how do we make ourselves visible to an audience, because they can't come in and see the
giving people
showrooms.
Ideas,
and share as much as possible. So we took every single photo we have of every single project, and they're all up on our Pinterest page. So, and that's, so yes, that's the lovely big shots that you want to show on your website, but it's also a lot of the detail shots. And
have you found customers said, I want that? That's what I want.
And that's
just
the best thing.
Idea,
whereas they'd come in, I've got a Pinterest board of most of the time they're coming in and most of the images are ours. So it's very easy, because you're like, oh, well, this was this and this was this. So it helps. It really helps, and it helps people make decisions. And ultimately, when they're doing a home, there's a lot of decisions to make. So the more they can make with knowledge and power, the better.
Yeah. Okay, so what we're saying is illustrations to customers will help you to close more deals.
We share all of our photography, and want people to use it and look at it, and customers especially to use it as a library. So the more the better.
We're all challenged with supply chain issues, and manufacturers seem to be having to raise prices. So logically, you'd assume that values are going up. Have you seen, because of the pandemic, people wanting to spend more money as well on their kitchens and bathrooms?
I would say people have a budget in their mind, and they want good value. And yes, unfortunately, raw materials and everything is going up, so that does have a knock-on effect. But I think people will pay for something if they understand the value and are making an informed decision. Yeah. And that's what all we can do is allow them to make informed decisions.
Yeah. So if you look to your average order value, say 3 years ago to where you are today, what would be the difference, do you think?
I would say it is going up. But I don't think that's just as a result of price increases. I think it's an understanding of value, investing in better quality and value, and I think people are buying more. That's one of the advantages for us of selling more than just kitchens, is people have a reason to come back and buy more from us. Right. We've recently, through lockdown, inspired it or at least increased the project was collected by Day True,
right.
which is our sort of e-commerce website which sells products and homewares. So, we might have just done a kitchen, and then someone might buy the stools and the table and the tea towels and the crockery and the so
add-on sales.
Yeah.
So you've been in KB Marketplace for how many years, Hayley?
20.
20.
Something.
So do you have a vision for the next 20 years? So where are we going to be in 20 years' time in terms of the customer journey in buying a kitchen or bathroom?
I mean, there's no doubt that retail is changing. I mean, I think everyone knows that, and again, COVID has just accelerated that. So you have to create an experience. We can't just sit back and expect them to come through the door. We've got to get them through the door. We've got to inspire them at every opportunity. Our approach is we want to make the process of buying a kitchen or a bathroom a really exciting experience, rather than really traumatic and stressful, which it can be.
It's emotional, isn't it?
It's really emotional.
Purchase,
So it's not just about selling a product. It's how can we make it a really enjoyable experience for someone, and that includes technology. What's the future? VR. So as well as senses, smells, food, taste. We're in homes. Spas, so our Wimbledon showroom has a spa in the basement that works, and our whole thing is come in, try it. Don't just don't listen to us. Come and experience it, and then you can make a decision. So the more we can, incorporate that kind of approach throughout the process, I think the more fun and exciting it will be to buy a kitchen or bathroom.
Okay. Do you think in 20 years' time there'll be more, let's say, interactive online design selling kitchens and bathrooms potentially?
I like to think it'd be a combination. I think the online and the remote element helps the process, and helps speed up the process, because there's a lot you can do remotely. But I still fundamentally think that people, when they're spending
feeling and touching
a certain
and coming
amount
in to
of money
see it.
on a product, they're not going to buy it online without touching it, feeling it, understanding it, tasting it, smelling it. I think that's the experience part of it. So how can we do both? How can we use technology to make it easy and deliver them a real experience?
100% there's a place for a showroom, that's what we're saying. Would you guys contemplate some kind of virtual reality experience?
Yes.
Is that something you'd look at for the future?
It's something we're looking at. And I think...
but not to replace the actual physical showroom?
No. I don't think so, because it's one of our strongest things is understanding spatial planning and, being submerged in the showroom. And, our Wimbledon showroom has a show home on the top floor, which is an apartment, essentially. And it's showcasing spatial planning, but people can go into the room and close the door and use it. And I know you can do that on virtual reality, visually, but I don't think you get the sense of it. Yes, you can run your hand under a tap in a virtual world, but can you feel the temperature of the water? So I think you have to mix the two. We like the idea that, you might be walking around your kitchen virtually, but then we can cook you something and you can eat it while you're got your headset. So it's merging the two is going to be, for me, the successful approach.
Do customers like technology in the kitchen? Are they buying, these internet appliances that tell you what's in your fridge and dishwashers that are remote from your mobile phone? Do people want those things?
I think there's gadget for gadget's sake. I think there's a place for it that makes our life easier and better, but in the right approach. And yes, there will be more technology, but not for technology's sake. So it's using it in the right way. And understanding how the customer, everyone's different. So some people that is a key. Some people, like a light switch rather than pressing a screen.
So would you offer any advice if you have a showroom opportunity on a display to show something that's different as an attention grabber? Do you have that within any of your showrooms that's different on technology?
I think, for me, everything has to have a purpose. To be, I'm not going to show you something to do something. Everything has to be designed for a reason and have a place in there for a purpose. And I think that will include technology, but not for technology's sake.
So what would be your showstopper when a customer comes in technology-wise? What would you say you'd show a customer to get them interested as a conversation?
I mean, we have a lot of discussions about different types of cooking. Because,
induction hobs is a good one.
Well, steam ovens, wash chillers,
yeah.
And there's so many options and examples. But again, it depends on the client, and sometimes they're sold jargon on this Bacomatic, Sensomatic, Pizza-matic, and it's like, what does that really mean to someone?
And would they actually use it?
And what does it mean to me and how I actually cook and my family and how I live my life? So we're trying to strip that back, and this is back to the sort of better life. We're trying to strip it back to what does it mean in reality to people rather than what the brochure tells us.
To improving their personal lives.
Almost make it relative to them rather than, it does all this feature benefit. Yeah. What does that actually mean?
What's the benefit to the customer?
What does it mean to me? I like cooking a fish finger sandwich. How does it make that better? That's the individuality, and that's the understanding each person and what they do, and breaking down all that jargon and technology to say this is how it can improve your life.
We'd like to share to people watching an experience you've had that's been amusing with a customer, that potentially has gone wrong, that you put right, or that's funny, that we can all learn from.
I've got some really funny stories, but I can't say them on video. But I guess one of the not so funny but interesting stories was throughout lockdown, when again we couldn't speak to people. My husband decided to do a live cooking stream on Instagram Live, and we called it Car Crash Cooking because it generally was him cooking something, me dropping something or drinking, but it was a way for us to engage with our client base, whoever was watching, and they could see our personality, because how do you get that across in still imagery? So it was a way of communicating with people and them seeing us in our home cooking in lockdown. And weirdly, we got a project that was funny, just been photographed. So we got a client from Car Crash Cooking, in lockdown, and we just did the whole house.
I think you need to repeat that, Hayley. I think we do Car Crash Cooking number 2.
We do it. No, we have done it. We have continued it. Yeah, because we did one last week. In fact,
I need to tune in, don't I?
But it's really fun. It's funny, but it's us cooking in our showroom. I mean, now we do it in the showroom because people can see the space and the showroom's working.
Real people, real challenges.
Really cooking,
and
really
making
making a mess, really using everything, because it's real life and it works. And that was us in our kitchen. So it's weird where you're. We didn't expect that, but the fact that it resulted in a client and a project was great.
Great, brilliant, perfect, yeah. So, Hayley Robson, thank you very much for the chat today. There's loads of information there that somebody can learn from, and that's what it's all about. So, thank you.